that? Okay. So, gonna be doing a little... What the fuck are you doing? Gonna do something a little different today. Normally, I just kind of talk, but we're gonna do a little bit of a Q&A. So, this is Sire Charles here, a.k.a. my roommate.
Steven,
Thank you.
I'm like
Got a little tongue-tied for a sec there. So, known this gentleman for, like, what?
Almost
8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been a long friendship. I've wanted to do a video like this for a while with a various of my friends, just to kind of get their perspective on having a trans friend. So I've got some
Wait, you're trans?
This is news to me. Yeah. So, first question, basically, I'm just kind of winging these because I don't really have a set plan. How did you feel when you first found out?
Honestly, I was a little surprised. Not in a bad way, but I had never met a trans person before I met you, actually. You were the first one. But it didn't bother me at all, obviously, because I'm not judgmental, first of all, and I want people to be themselves all the time. It doesn't matter whether if you feel like you're something else, then you should be yourself. You shouldn't have to, be what society tells you need to be. So.
Sounds good. Alright, so has it been like a positive or a negative?
I think it was more of a positive influence in my life because it opened up my eyes to more of what's really going on in the world and what trans people have to go through in society. I read, obviously everyone knows what's going on in the media about the bathrooms and different things like that, and it opens up your eyes to a lot of different things. So, it helps. It definitely helps push you in the direction to see what people have to go through that you don't know about because you don't go through it yourself,
Yeah.
So.
So
I was more upset that he's like 4 feet tall.
So, has it made you worry about my safety?
Sometimes, not because of like your medical safety, because I know you know what you're doing, and being that your mom works is at a hospital and she is there for you. But in society and stuff like that, and the way people treat trans people, it made me worry about you for a while. But society is different; it's changing, and people are more accepting to it, and I think that Oh hi, I'm actually more in the picture now.
I just noticed that.
It makes you feel a lot safer now, being that being trans and the trans world is more out there due to the media and stuff. Even though most of the media makes trans sound like it's a bad thing, but it's not. It should be. People should have their eyes opened up to it because people don't realize that if their freedoms were taken away or if they had to be something that they weren't, they would be just as miserable.
Exactly.
So you should be allowed to do what makes you happy, and I fully support that, and that's why we're so close. I think is because you're doing what you need to do, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I didn't really think of any. I kind of briefly wrote some shit down because I didn't know what to.
He's got a potty now.
So, would you ever date a trans person?
Yes, I would. In fact, I almost did, but we didn't. But it wasn't because they were trans. It was because they were an asshole, basically. But yeah, I would date a trans person. I think a trans person's no different. If you're a guy, you're a guy regardless, or a girl, or whatever. You're who you feel like you are inside. So it wouldn't change my opinion on the person that you are, just because you don't have the genitalia necessarily, I guess you'd say, that the person is looking for. But trans is, I don't really think trans is a thing. I think it should be more like, if you feel like you're a man, if you're born a woman and you feel like you're a man, you're a man. You know what I mean? So, of course, obviously I'm more into men than I am women, but I would absolutely date a trans person because they're the same person as if I was just going to date a man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It doesn't change who you are as a person. Besides, he never looked like a woman to me. Ever. I would have never guessed. If he wouldn't have told me, I probably would have never known.
I get that a lot. It's like,
when you hear his voice, it's so deep, number one. He looks like a man. Come on.
I mean, from my perspective, I don't think my voice has changed much. I mean, it's my voice. I hear it all the time,
But
but
it-
it sound different.
But I guarantee you it has.
But-
your voice has changed since I met you. It's gotten even deeper since I met you. Now remember, when I met you, you had no facial hair.
No,
And now he's got
no,
facial
but,
hair. So, I mean...
You can't really see it, but
You can't because, you know,
bit.
he's the color of
poor
chocolate.
lighting and because it's kind of dark.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have even known that he was... I mean, he came to live with me back home for months, and no one back home even knew. It wasn't until I said something that they found out. And the only reason why I said something was because I think it was my mom saw something on your Facebook about trans people. And that's when I said something. I was like, I don't just give away your information. I did not rude like
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I
But,
don't care.
you know, I figured because it's my mom, you know, you wouldn't have cared that I explained it.
I
She's
mean,
like,
I'm
I
not-
would have never guessed, you know.
I don't necessarily care if people know. It's not something I hide. I don't know.
It's not some, but it's
I
not
don't put
something
it out
that you
there, either.
put it out there. You shouldn't have to, though.
Yeah.
You're a man. You're a man. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I do also respect the idea, like, say, if you're getting into a relationship, or even if you're getting close to someone like me, I feel like it should be at least told eventually,
Yeah,
so
like,
that way you
that's-
know, that way you have that bond with that person, so that there's not
Exactly.
a secret, and it's like you feel more comfortable because you can be yourself.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. But I don't feel like you should have to walk up to someone off the street and be like, I used to
Yeah.
be a girl. Like, that's stupid. You know?
It's not relevant. It's not necessary to really.
And I
do
just,
it.
the one thing that really nitpicks at me is when someone finds out that someone is trans, they just degrade you and just make you feel so tiny because you're basically a catfish.
Yeah.
Like, that is the
It's
worst.
like, how is
Like,
that a catfish?
You're not a catfish. You're actually having the changes. You're going through what you need to do. Now, I do understand. I do have a certain feel about certain people, like online, who like say, "I'm a man," but they're not behind the screen. They're full on girl, dress in dresses, walk around. That to me is like a slap in the face to a real transgender person.
Exactly.
Because you're not actually going through what that transgender person is changing. And I don't even consider them trans because you're not a trans. You're a male. Or you're a female. You're not trans. You're transitioning. You know what I mean? I don't think of you as a transgender. I think of you as a man.
Yeah.
I just don't label you. Even though we all know
In society,
But
that's
society
kinda how
looks at it as like
the way
that, but
things
I don't
are.
look
Like
at
we
it
have to
like that,
label
yeah.
something in order to understand.
Yeah, you
it.
shouldn't have to label. Just like I don't label my sexuality. Yes, I like men. I'm attracted to women. But yeah, most people, if someone asks me that, I'm just gay. But really, my type of thing is whoever I fall in love with. So why should you be labeled for being a trans when you're not? You're a man. You know,
Exactly.
you work so hard for it. You shouldn't have to walk around with that label over your head.
Yeah.
And you're welcome
And
to use my
I
bathrooms.
think walking around, looking, sounding, dressing, acting
It's
like a man,
enough.
It's a
of
label
proof.
enough.
Yeah, it's a label enough.
It's like
to
I
be
shouldn't
who
have
you are.
to
Yeah, say hey, I'm
say,
transgender.
hey. I mean, if it comes up in conversation, like with one of my coworkers, it kind of came up in conversation. I wasn't trying to tell him,
But it came up in conversation.
It came up in a conversation because we were talking about gender, sexuality, and how he met a girl that was kind of flip-flopping all over the place. She didn't know what she wanted to do.
Right.
And it's like, well, as somebody who's kind of been through that, I understand. And you just kind of looked at me like,
Yeah,
wait, what?
Because what people don't realize, especially even for me, I can't say that I can relate to what you're going through because I don't know what you're going through. I only know what you're going through because I spend every day with you now. But I don't know what goes through your head. I don't know what kind of pain and whatever you've gone through to get to where you are now. And I'm sure there was a lot of it. I'm sure there was a lot of confusion and not understanding why you felt the way you did and different things like that.
There was
So
a lot of
I
it.
get how painful something like that can be. Like, obviously, I can relate to the idea of coming out because, you know, you came out as trans, whatever, because I came out as liking men. But on the different note, I never transformed my body for how I felt inside. Well, of course, I've always felt like a man, but I can respect that you went to how you felt instead of having to label yourself as to what society says you have to be.
Exactly.
You know, I hate when people try to fit too much into society and not just be
Man,
themselves.
fuck with fitting in.
Yeah, for real, fitting in is the most
It's
boring
overrated.
thing ever. I am a weirdo, and I'm okay with that. So, I really am. I'm okay with being weird because I think I'm interesting.
It keeps life interesting.
Yeah, like I'm an interesting person because I'm weird and I'm not normal, and I like to say and do things that are so random. So does he, though. You should hear him. Although there's days that I threaten to throw him out the window a lot. Don't let him watch you cook. questions everything.
I'm a questioner. I'm curious, so I question.
I'm like, okay, Mom.
I get curious about stuff, so I question it.
But we're the type of people who like to cook all kinds of foods, so I guess we have to question that kind of stuff.
What's up, cat?
Our
We're
cat.
babysitting a cat.
Yeah. Well, he's
So.
he's our baby.
He's a weird cat.
He is such a weirdo. He's a year old
He's a year old
and he's
fucking
massive.
massive.
Look at that.
He's huge. He's
He's laying on there like, get my good side.
alright. So we got about almost 11 minutes there. Well, that's basically it. I can't really think of any other questions.
Okay. Well, if you
Unless
come
you
up
have
with any
any
more
questions.
questions. Well, my question to you is how did you realize that you weren't the gender you were born? How did you realize that that's not what you were inside?
I realized something was off when I was like 3, but I didn't know how to vocalize it.
Right. I
So
can relate to that.
Pretty much felt like that all the way up until I was like 18. I mean, I always dressed in boys' clothes. I always played with boys' toys, even from as a kid. Like even if I got Barbie dolls, I treated them like boys.
You
toys.
treated them like boys,
they
toys,
were-
like
they
action
looked-
figures. Yeah.
They looked rough.
Yeah.
My
I
mom
can see
had
you
to
blowing
save
them
some
up.
of them. It's because she wanted to have them for her grandkids or something. So some of the toys that I had, my mom had intentionally had to save because she wanted to, be able to pass them on.
That's another question. Actually, leads me to another question: is how did your family handle it when you first came to telling? I kind of know how your brother handled it, but how did your mom and the rest of your family handle it?
From what I've gathered and from what I've seen, a majority of them accepted it. I mean, I didn't really get a whole lot of questions. I told them that they could ask me questions if they had me.
Right.
But other than my mom, I didn't really get very many questions. I mean, the only question I got was from my Aunt Brenda, who passed a few years ago, is if she could come and Jess. I said, sure.
I've always called you Justin. Well, actually, as you can see, we have a total resemblance. We're twins.
Yeah, twins,
so
obvious.
this is how we started out. So I guess I can understand that though, being so accepting, because in this area where we live, people seem to be a lot more accepting than from where I'm from. In Wisconsin, they probably would have given you 1.5 million questions and probably picked on you a lot more out by me, because people are kind of assholes in Wisconsin. Sorry, guys, but it's but here it's different. People are friendly and more accepting. I'm not saying that there's not people here that won't give you a hard time. You know that. You've lived around here, but it's not as likely as from where I'm from. And I respect that, because if I ever saw someone give them a hard time for being trans or for being a man, I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail. That's just all that's to it.
It's like there's probably going to be a call from him saying, "You got to come get me," or "You got to have me out of
jail." Because, yeah,
It's like, Jake, what did you do?
I'm gonna have Jess throw some people into a volcano for me.
Yeah. So, okay.
But yeah, all the rest of the questions that I've ever had, I've asked you.
You pretty much asked
Yeah.
me a lot of the questions.
I asked you some questions. I know that, when I first found out, I was totally okay with it, but I was afraid to ask him questions because I didn't want to upset him. Not, obviously it doesn't, I know that now, but I didn't want to pry into something that I felt was like because it's a big deal for you. It really is, and sometimes it can be exhausting to constantly have to answer to someone else, the questions that they have. So I didn't want to ask, but as we grew closer and we're like brothers compared to like even my own family, we're closer. I was able to get the questions, ask the questions that I was curious about, and at the same time, just accept him for who he is. And you should always, because I can't say that I've always been accepting. Like, when I was younger, before I came out, I was like, because I grew up in, I guess you'd say a very Christian family, because my uncle, even though he wasn't against it, and he wasn't against gays or anything, I grew up in that world where being gay is wrong, being trans is wrong. So you start to believe this type of stuff, and then you start to explore the world as you get older, and you realize that it's not wrong. It's not even a lifestyle choice. It's you need to follow your heart and be who you need to be, and it shouldn't be judged by someone else. No one should be able to judge you for who you are, unless obviously you're a child molester or something. But
that's
it's
just like,
not.
I will cut you.
Yeah, for real. You're just trying to be real to yourself, and you should always be real to yourself.
Exactly.
And all I have to say is I'm proud of him for following what he is. I think that it takes real strength to stand up to the world and to be who you are. It really, you know, so you should be proud of yourself, and I'm proud of you, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm black. Don't tell nobody, though.
So, about 16 minutes about, I mean, I think we kind of covered
Pretty much
everything.
covered most of
I
what...
got most of the questions that
I'm
asked
sure we'll be
from the last
back at
person.
some time, though, because we're goofy as fuck, so...
A little bit.
We're gonna make his channel a little bit more fun, because he's kind of dull sometimes. His videos... I watched him make videos, but he'll record the videos.
Because if I mess
literally
up or I'll forget
all
something.
night
it's like,
long.
fuck.
What he doesn't realize is that he can take the separate videos and edit them.
But I can't do that with my phone.
No, but you can upload. You can use my computer if you ever need to.
Yeah.
My computer.
Takes effort.
It does take effort, but it also takes a third the time.
Yes, I know that.
So
but
you
I'm
just
lazy.
say, yeah.
But it's like, fuck it.
He's
I'll
lazy,
do it
but yet
over
he'll
again.
spend 16 hours on one video that lasts 5 minutes.
It was not 16 hours.
I
It was
remember.
more like 5.
It wasn't like 16 hours, but it was, yeah, close to 5 hours to record like a 10-minute video.
And then I'd stop, and then I'd go do something else, and then I'd be like...
I came
shit.
out here. I got home from work. No, was I working yet when I moved out here? I don't know if I got home from work or not, but I remember I was in my room. I was out here with him. He started recording his video. I went in my room. Like 4 hours, or like I would say about 2 hours later, I came back out. You were saying the exact same thing you were saying when I walked out the first time. Then I come back out a couple more hours later, and he was saying it again. I was like,
'Cause I was
what the
messing
hell
up.
are you doing?
I was messing up, and I was forgetting things. I was like, fuck.
But what you realize, what you got to remember about, especially about these videos, is people respect real life. You're not perfect.
I know.
You're never going to be.
But then it's like, it's going to be a longer video. It's like 10 minutes is long enough.
What's wrong with a long video? We're fun. You're fun. You can, people will enjoy watching you because they'll see that the type of person you are and the goofiness and how you're not perfect and you strive to be better, but you, at the same time, you want to be yourself.
Yeah.
So remember that. The next time you make a video, you can record it as many times as you want to, but just remember that.
But if I forget something, I'm going to start over. Because I don't want it to be like...
God forbid he's not. Thank God, though, that he's not like that when he cooks, because we would be in trouble.
We'd probably be starving.
Yeah, because we would not only be out of food because he'd throw everything away, but we wouldn't be allowed to eat it either.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually pretty decent when I cook.
He's good at cooking. We're both fairly good at cooking. We're best when we throw things together, though, even though they don't.
Made some pretty interesting stuff lately.
Yeah, my favorite were those tacos, though. I don't think I think we're going to have a really hard time replicating those tacos, though. The lettuce and tacos. You notice, though, that I know this is weird for this video, but that lettuce lasted in the refrigerator for like 2.5 months.
Yeah.
And it was still good when we ate it.
I think that refrigerator's like
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. It lasted in there
It works.
forever. I was like,
Keeps stuff cold.
yeah, I was like, wow, it's still good. But we make good food. We're kind of getting off the topic, though.
Yeah. Alright. Final time. We gotta end this because this is about like almost 20 minutes.
Well, you'll see me again, I'm sure.
Most
because
likely.
I
You'll
pop
probably
into
hear him
his
in the background
videos and
laughing
stream,
and
and yeah.
doing something.
I laugh at him because he just OCD.
Yeah.
I look like I'm cross-eyed. Am I cross-eyed? I look cross-eyed. Comment in the video if you think I'm cross-eyed.
I'll see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.